let's get started. Welcome to the session number 15 of Davos Experience in Tokyo. My name is Yoko Ishikura. I have been sort of initiating and facilitating this series. It's great to have all of you today. And this is session number 15, and our title is Social Entrepreneurship. And I think a lot of people are very interested in social issues, and yet there are few who would start NGO, who would join NGO for these things, because it's such a high risk, and it's not very clear whether the social activities or social entrepreneurship would work or not. But at the same time, corporations have a lot of resources, whether we're talking about human people or funding. And so if we can establish some way or develop a plan so that both the corporations that you work for and you can gain some benefit from your initiative or from your project, and at the same time, if it can go a long way towards making the world a better place, it's a win-win-win situation. And that's what we're trying to shoot for. And we are wondering whether that's really is an option or not. It's an alternative, or we can be social entrepreneur but not social entrepreneur. So that's what we're trying to figure out today. And I think it's nothing is better than using the actual case study. And we have this incredible case study that I've been very much involved with through the Global Agenda Seminar Series, which started in 2010. And this case is called Blue Wind by ANA. And here's Akira Fukabori, who initiated this project, and he was a member of the Global Agenda Seminar Series in 2010. And his team, I think he really made continuous effort talking to the corporation of ANA. And I went to talk to some of the people there as well. And taking 4 years, he finally made it possible for the corporations to support this project as a corporate level. And yet, right now, they are doing the experiment, or this is like a trial stage. So we are very much interested in making this trial or pilot project successful so that we can go on to something much bigger. And I think that'll be a very good thing for ANA as well, for social, for branding and so forth. So first of all, I would like to introduce these ANA teams, and we'll have a little bit of chat, and they have some slides, they have prepared some slides. And then we will ask one of our participants, or one of my close friends, Carrie Akiyama, to tell us a little bit about, what do we mean by social public relations or social strategy to make this kind of thing known and make people engaged. So, but before that, let me just talk a little bit about what I have done in the past since the last Davos Experience in Tokyo, which was in April, I believe. I went to Switzerland to attend the St. Gallen Symposium, and there we talked about the clash of generations. And last week I was in Manila for the East Asia Forum, and that was the part of the regional forum by the World Economic Forum. And as a matter of fact, next week, Monday and Tuesday, we have Japan meeting by the World Economic Forum. So everything is taking place. So it's a little bit, I have too many things to tell you, but we'll do that when we hit the bottle, the can of beer there, and some food after the session, because we have a whole lot of things that we would like to do during the session. So let's start off with the Fukabori-san, and why don't you introduce the other team?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Yoko-san. And I would like to first thank Yoko-san for this opportunity, and also Wilson Learning Center. It's a great opportunity for us, and it's a great pleasure for ANA as well. So my name is Akira. So as Yoko-san mentioned, I was one of the members of Global Agenda Seminar in 2010, which was the first program of Global Agenda Seminar. And that was actually my first step for this program. So in that program, it was a one-year program, and we met many social entrepreneurs and other business leaders as well. And so, to be honest, I really like airplanes and aircraft. And by the way, I have a private pilot license, even if I'm not a pilot. Well, there's a pilot actually. But so I love aircrafts and I love airplane, and I always wanted to be one of the member of airline. And I had this, let's say, dream that I want to do something for the world by using airline business. And my first career started from flight operation engineering, so marketing and promotion and CSR is not kind of my professional thing, but so I started with engineering. But I saw this global agenda seminar, poster in Roppongi Hills, and I tried to attend. Then I met these social entrepreneurs, and I was really inspired, and I wanted to help them. And this was the program that I came up as a solution, and I will describe that later on. And as Yoko-san mentioned, it took 4 years to do these programs inside of let's say, old-fashioned company like ANA. And I was working 100% voluntarily these 4 years, and so there was many struggle in this 4 years to move the company and start these kind of project. Because in this program we collaborate with Ashoka, world's largest social entrepreneurs network. But I don't know if anyone know about Ashoka, but inside of ANA, no one knew about Ashoka. So when I first come up with the idea to collaborate with Ashoka, like everyone said, what is that organization? So everyone was kind of against me. But these, well, now I have a volunteer team. There's only 5 members right now, but we gathered 27 teams from different organizations inside of ANA. So one of pilots here, and HR guy, and marketing and sales, and flight attendant, and also promotion. So we're kind of volunteer group, but we're really passionate to use our, let's say, wing to really change the world. So that's kind of the whole vision of this program. We would like to say several comments, like, or.
Why don't we start it, because we don't have that much
Yeah,
time.
you're right.
And, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe Kevin and
Yeah.
Helen can draw.
So tell us a little bit about this Blue Wing and how we can help.
Yes. So what is Blue Wing? Well, it's really simple, I think. There's many leaders who are struggling to change tackle global agenda, and they need air transportation. That's kind of what I learned when I met many social entrepreneurs. Like I met a social entrepreneur called John Wood, and he was traveling almost 300 days per year. And we can build 3 big schools in Sri Lanka with his air transportation fee for 1 year. So I talked with him and came up with the idea. So an airline will support air transportation, and he or she, social entrepreneurs or the leaders, can spread these so they can support us to do the promotion for this program within their network. So John Wood had 35 million, 300,000 followers in Twitter. So that was kind of huge network. And so we will support our strength, service, and he will support us do the promotion. So it's kind of not one-way donation, you know. We will support our strength, which they need, and they will support us using their strong network to spread these stories. These followers come to ANA and become a fan. So this is kind of win-win program that we usually do this in business, but I brought this program into a non-profit and profit collaboration.
So it's probably impossible to do this with UNICEF or UNHCR because they wanted to do it, but they couldn't because they can't do ANA's promotion inside of their network. So that was kind of difficult, but social entrepreneurs, they're kind of really entrepreneurs. So we can talk, we can do the business talks. So that's kind of the...
Okay, let's go on. So what are the issues that you're now faced with?
Okay.
So that they know what they are expected to do.
Okay, so the issue that we're facing is, since it started with a really volunteer member, and we took so much, it took so much effort for us, and we have to do this with a limit budget, and so we launched a website called Blue Wing, wingsforchangemaker.com, and what we need is, we need more audience for this program. We didn't have that much money to actually promote, and we didn't have also, we didn't have the core members belonging in this program, which was started from marketing team at the moment. So what we need is really people to visit the site and really join this program. So that's kind of what we need at this moment.
Okay, that's a pretty short-term thing. So where are you and how exactly can we do? That's the current situation, right?
Yes. So this is a wingsforchangemaker.com website, and there are 3 things which everyone can do from all around of the world. So we are collaborating with Ashoka and selecting Ashoka Fellows, 5 Ashoka Fellows, and they're incredible. They're doing incredible things, but they need air transportation. But so when we select these 5, we actually started to support ANA's air transportation. But you know, there's other networks that we don't fly. So we decided to give them money to fly different airlines, I think. So, and we asked people's, let's say, passion to really change the world. And if you visit this site and click whichever changemaker you want to support and press vote or fly. Say if you click this vote, ANA will give 50 cents to the changemakers for additional air transportation. And if you buy a ticket from this button, the 1% of the ticket fee will be donated to the changemaker for his air transportation. So this is kind of the exact thing which everyone can do, but currently we want more people to get involved because this program we're not doing this in Japanese and in Japan, unfortunately, because of the cost, and we had a little bit difficulty to start within a big company. So we really want your advice and your idea to really spread this program.
Okay, so let's see. How many of you have visited the site? Okay.
Thank you very much.
So you have some idea of what a site looks like, and others may not, but that's fine. And so he had this project. He worked for 4 years trying to convince the company, the corporate level, and the corporate said, okay, fine, so we'll give it a try. However, there were lots and lots of constraints. For example, they were not able to show it in Japanese to the Japanese customers, even though ANA has a lot of Japanese customers, because ANA wants to raise their brand awareness in the global level rather than Japanese. And they really didn't want to, as I understand it, touch the Japanese customers, because this may not work. And if that's the case, that's too much of a risk for ANA. So from the corporate, headquarters view, this could be still a little bit risky and experimental. So even though they sort of see the benefit of it, they gave lots and lots of constraints. So they said, well, okay, we'll give you the approval, go ahead to try, but with the international customers only. So that means all the Japanese customers have absolutely no idea of this site. And at the same time, they said, at the corporate level, corporate executives said that, okay, we'll give you the certain time. The deadline is July the 31st. And if you can get 240,000 votes, right?
That's great, yeah.
Then we'll just, we'll give it a go. But if you can't get the 240,000 votes by then, I don't know what will happen, but it's pretty clearly, it could be dead. It could die. The project could die after 4 years. And that's where we need your help, and we need your ideas. Because we have under any corporate entrepreneur, social entrepreneurs, I think it's almost a premise, assumption that they work under a lot of constraints, even though they may be able to get some resources from the company. So that's the way of life for the social entrepreneurs. So how do you resolve this type of issue? How do you make sure that you achieve whatever the goal that the company has set up, so that you can continue doing this kind of thing on to the bigger things? So that's the challenge for the social entrepreneurs. And I think that's precisely the kind of things that the social entrepreneurs will face. So it's, even though this is just specific example of how can we get more votes to Blue Wind, but I think it has lots and lots of applications and generalizability for you when you're thinking about social entrepreneurship. So that's why we really want you to think about it. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
so that's
How many
do you have
votes so
anything
far?
else?
Yeah, maybe Kevin could describe what exact changemakers we're supporting at this moment.
Sure. So as Akia mentioned, we are partnered with Ashoka, which is the global NPO. We're also supporting these great 5 changemakers. Each of them have incredible stories. Just due to time constraints, I'll just briefly talk about what each of them are doing. Starting from the left, Elizabeth Hosler. She is helping to change building practices to strengthen building codes and make houses that are earthquake resistant by using really cheap methods and helping to teach the local governments and citizens to be able to build houses that are earthquake resistant on their own. So that's a really great cause. Asher Hassan, who runs an organization called Naya Vegan, is a micro insurance company, kind of like microfinance in the insurance sector. So he's providing insurance for people who are really low income, $4 a day, and these people don't have access to normal health care. But through Naya Vegan, these low-income workers now have access to health care, and the way he does that is by partnering with companies and saying, well, you hire these people, you employ these people, so if you keep them healthy, they'll be able to continue working for you. And so he has built this, and since he is an NPO, he's able to really lower the premiums for his healthcare coverage, and he's doing great things in the healthcare sector. Third, we have Medic Mobile, which is run by Josh Nesbitt, actually my personal favorite, because he's solving isolation. So there's lots of people around the world, for example, Africa, where these people are living in very remote regions, so it takes them hundreds of miles to get to their closest hospital. And so as a result, they don't have access to the care that they need. So he's utilizing existing resources, such as community health workers in each of these towns, and he's equipping them with really low-cost cell phones and very basic SIM card technology, and making a network so that these people who are isolated now have access to doctors and medical advice. We have Andreas Heineke, who runs Dialogue in the Dark. There's actually Dialogue in the Dark here in Japan as well, so some of you are familiar with his organization. But he's trying to promote empathy and understanding of those who are visually impaired by kind of making a role reversal. So people can go to his exhibit and experience what it's like to be blind. Completely dark rooms, and you're being led by blind guides, so it's kind of role reversal. Now you're the one who feels like you're out of place. It's a really great cause, and he's also helping to employ these individuals who until now were kind of looked down upon as being handicapped or disadvantaged. And finally, we have Jürgen Griesbeck, who runs Street Football World, and he uses football or soccer as a way to approach at-risk youth and kind of keep them out of trouble, and also using that network of soccer to address issues like health and education and social issues, building communities around sport. So those are the 5 change makers that we are supporting at the moment.
If you're more or less finished, okay. If that's the case, let me sort of get back up a little bit and try to explain the whole procedure for today. They sort of explain what the Blue Wing is, what they're trying to do, and their issues. And what we're going to do is we'll ask Carrie to tell us a little bit about her experience, or her experiences and the case examples of promoting this kind of thing. And because we have no idea where to start. And then we would like you to break out into small groups, and each table will have a person, if you have some questions. And then we expect you to come up with some ideas so that we can accomplish those 240,000 votes within a month, within 2 months. So that's a big, big challenge and big goal. And for the details, I think it's better for us to ask each one of A&A people in the small group rather than just open up the discussion right now. Okay? So let me ask Carrie. Oh. Who? Oh. Yeah, how many votes do you have? Do you have
1,152.
Yeah.
Actually, we changed the limit for the vote 2 days before.
Yeah,
So now everyone can vote every day to
Each Changemakers. Before till last week, until last week, we can only vote once per week. So that was kind of impossible, but I negotiated within the company, and now I got 6 votes for everyone, every day.
So you have how many?
1,152.
Okay, 1,100 and something to 240,000.
Yes.
That's a lot of votes.
Yes, I can just tell you a little bit of the number. So now we changed the system. So we need approximately 700 people to vote every day. Every day to 6 change makers.
Okay.
So that's kind of the average, I think.
Okay. So here comes Carrie, who are going to tell. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Is there any link to this moving side from Japan side?
Not from ANA Japan, but we have the banners running in ANA global side in each regions. And what we're going to start from next Monday is a Google Display Network. It's like a Google banner, and in each area. So we'll probably get page views, but no, we need votes. Like we need, yes, convergence. So we need really a fan to really vote every day.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the strategic PR. This is just examples for you to understand where to start. So this is not the only method to achieve 240,000 votes from 1,000. And we don't have that much time, so I'm going to jump into the examples. But I'm sure you understand the difference between PR and advertisement. Advertisement is you buy the slot, and PR is that you don't, but you are making media to cover the topic that you want to push. The history too. It's a classical strategy since the ancient Greek time. And this is one of the examples by Meiji, and I think most of the Japanese knows that LG21 is the famous yogurt. And from the beginning, Meiji was trying to achieve and create the sense of urgency to use this product So they proposed an issue that's saying that they found Helicobacter pylori is the bacteria which skin the stomach wall, and most of the Japanese, especially over 60s, probably 70 to 80% of them were infected due to it. If you are healthy, this bacteria won't do anything, but if you have ulcer, this bacteria would affect you. So what they are saying is that eradicate the bacteria. And the solution that they have proposed is that eat LG21 yogurt every day and to prevent this bacteria. So they proposed the solution and they made a sense of urgency. They promoted to the Japanese society to gain the shares in this area. They've also applied the same method to other yogurt called part1, which is known for preventing the influenza. Another example is Fidelity. They had an issue of expanding their business into the investment trust fund, especially for the elderly, and they wanted to make sure that they would create a new product for that. And they had an issue because if they say that old age asset building, it sounds too difficult to media and to consumers, especially in the elderly segment. So what they did was that they created a new word called the post-retirement years refugee. In Japanese, it's a rogo nanmin. And they promoted this new concept. They did a lot of different PR activities, and one of them was that they used the head of Investment Education Research Center as an influencer, and he wrote a book on rogo nanmin, and they tried to sell this idea to the media, and definitely it was quite successful. In only 6 months, 180 media covered, and also they sold this product very well. One of the methods that you see in the strategic PR is that oftentimes that they use the research center and to promote the new concept. So Fidelity did this method. Also, P&G used their research center to promote Pampers. Another example by the New Zealand NPO called SPCA. This is the very famous strategic PR project. And this is one of the examples that they don't have money, but they made it very effectively. It's a pet adoption service in New Zealand, and it's well known for not being able to find foster parents for their dogs. And the reason when they did the research was that the reason most of the New Zealander thought that their dogs were stupid, so that they don't want to adopt. So what they did was that since Mini Cooper was the sponsor and only 2% of the whole population knew they were the sponsor, they decided to promote with Mini Cooper. In 8 weeks, they'll teach how to drive, and they take the video every day and post it on the YouTube. So this is the actual YouTube.
Dwight. Good boy.
I'm not gonna go into the whole thing. This is what they did. Oh, shoot. Sorry. But what I'm trying to tell you here is the result was over 11 million people played this YouTube, also covered by the major networks in New Zealand, Australia. So they didn't use much money, but what they did was that they created the right theme to get an interest from the public.
So they essentially said that the video shows that the dogs can learn how to drive.
Yeah. What they wanted to do is that they wanted to show that their dogs
Are smart.
were not stupid, but
Okay.
smart enough to drive a car.
Okay.
They also wanted to promote Mini
Mini
Cooper
Cooper,
is
okay.
the sponsor. So
Okay.
for 8 weeks. And if you see the video,
It's really funny.
it's really funny, and the reality is that yes, they're driving, but are they really driving? Because it's really slow and, you know.
This is-
But the story itself is interesting. So they were successful to convince the public that their dogs are smart,
I see.
and they got quite a bit of donations from many different places as well. They were able to find the foster parents.
So it says Meat Porter, the world's first driving dog.
Mhm.
That's the catch. So in itself, I think the video itself is quite funny and caught attention.
They didn't use too much money, just the home video and a couple staff. So another great example, which is a communication shutdown by the NPO, Autism NPO, and what they did was that they tried to convince people that having no communication is the same experience for the autism children.
You know what autism is? 自閉症.
They created an application for you to download to your mobile phone and PC, so that on the November 1st of 2000, I think it was 10, to shut down all your communications for a certain period of time. When you download the application, you can donate some money to the organization. And the reason it was so successful was that it blocks Twitter and Facebook for one whole day, and shows that you're participating in this communication shutdown project. And celebrities like Steven Seagal tweeted, so it spread out the whole world. It was quite successful, and over 40 countries participated. So they didn't use too much money, but they were able to communicate all over the world. To wrap up, the steps to create a strategic PTR, there are 5 steps. And the first one is that you need to research the interest of the target segment and identify the relevant topics to your project, any services or any product. And then translate your advantage into that segment interest. And then the third one is to create a theme by using these 2 combinations. And then create material. When I say material, it could be video, it could be some kind of paper, it could be a book, but you need to have something to tell the story. And then you have to spread it through a PR activity. So I hope that this could give you some thoughts for what you need to do today.
Great, thank you very much. It's quite a challenge from going from 1,100 something to 240,000. However, I think if you have a very interesting combination of what you're trying to reach, who you are trying to reach, and the value of whatever you are selling or marketing, in a really catchy way, somewhat unexpected, surprising way, I think we may be able to. And just post it on YouTube or something. And without, spending that much money, or using the ad agencies and so forth, probably we can just make it viral. And as you know, a lot of things go viral, and some of them are like for nothing. And so I think that's one way of thinking about it. But we really welcome any ideas, because I think they are pretty desperate. And so we need all sorts of ideas. So what we would like you to do is just to break out into how many. I think we have pretty much a full house. So we have six tables. So take your chair to any one of these tables, small tables, and each table will have a person from A&A, so you can ask questions. And I hope you go sort of wild. Don't just start off with something pretty normal. Try to go for a big thing. Yeah.
So do we have to come up with ideas how to reach the 240,000 votes, or it can be ideas how to solve this problem? Does it has something to do with votes, for example? Come up with modification to the idea to convince the company to spend time, for example, or maybe change the way to look at it.
What do you think? I think we should vote, and we should really focus on votes,
So,
because that's our immediate thing.
yeah, fighting within the company, I have, I'm right now kind of, I think we're moving already, so
Since we have limited time, I really want to focus how we can increase the vote.
Yeah,
Not,
because- yeah.
not 200, 2,400, but maybe at least,
Something
Yeah.
representable.
yes, yes.
That there is
yes.
momentum
Something
happening.
respectable that the corporate headquarters say, okay, that's worth it, so that we can go. I think what we need to do is just to continue. I mean, if it dies, it dies. So if it stays in 1,000 or 2,000, I think it's very likely it's gonna die. And I think that's how urgent this issue is. So we can think about, how to, convince the top management and all these things, but that can come later. So I think our immediate issue, immediate task is how can we make more votes? How can we get more votes? Clear?
I would love to hear those ideas after.
Well,
the
when
discussion.
we hit the cans
Yes,
and all
please. Yeah, I
that,
would love
we
to
can
hear
talk
those.
about all those
Yeah.
other things. Okay, so it's your time. Come up with crazy ideas and as many ideas as possible so that we can really start getting votes. Move.
Okay, thank you.